Good evening and welcome to another episode of Whiskey and Wealth Wednesday. A lot to cover today. This past weekend was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, my hometown, for Uncle Rick's memorial service, which was really great to see everybody and kind of catch up and just reminisce about how great of a man he was. And also spent some time with my longest term best friend, Nate, and we were able to just talk and watched some 80s movies and did a little drinking, and it was a lot of fun to spend time with him as well. But we are going to continue this series of investment illusions. Oh, I am drinking Widow Jane Lucky 13. For those of you familiar with Lucky Jane, it's often very hot, but this is delicious. It's actually really, really good. So the first illusion in the Investment Illusions book that we introduced last week is the illusion of rationality. And I actually wrote down a few things, and you know that I normally just kind of freestyle, but I did want to make sure to get some of this data right. And so when we think about are we rational or irrational, you've heard me talk before about making decisions, and I just have some statistics and just some quotes and some data points. And so JP Morgan actually reports that over the past 20 years, the average diversified investor earned 2.9% per year. Meanwhile, if you just had a 60-40, 60% stocks, 40% bonds, you're looking at 6.4% on an annual basis. And then Dalbar, which is an independent company that does reviews of performance based on different variables, they said the average investor over the last 20 years has averaged about 6%, whereas the global stock index has done about 8.3%. So that's just some compelling information with respect to investor performance. Warren Buffett, whom I'm sure most of you are familiar, he actually said that the investor's chief problem is likely to be himself. And we've talked about the anatomy of the brain and dopamine and how that affects things, often leading to poor decision making. And the reality is rationality assumes that we are not influenced by emotions, which again, we know is just not the case. And so as we move forward in this series, I think you'll find that there are a lot of tools and a lot of tips that you're going to be able to utilize to be aware of some of these illusions and how to overcome them moving forward. So next week will be number 2. Cheers.